So the 404 limit is what we call the employer deduction limit. And while a company owner might want to put in $72,000 for himself or herself, we want to make sure that it's going to be deductible if they do, so we don't end up in a situation where they're putting money in and the company isn't getting credit and taking the deduction for those funds. So there's a few considerations that we have to take into play. And they can get a little bit complex, so I'll try to keep it at the 10,000 foot level. But the simplest illustration is a regular 401k profit sharing plan where the owner takes W-2 income and they're making a company contribution, whether that's the match, the safe harbor, the profit sharing, any of that coming from the company. We won't talk about the deductibility of the 401k deferrals. That's something totally separate. But essentially, what you would do is you would aggregate the W-2 wages for all your eligible participants and not taking into consideration anything above the comp limit for that year, which is $360,000 for 2026. So you aggregate your wages up to the comp limit for those eligible participants, multiply that by 25%, and that's your total company limit that they can put in. So if you're just talking about a still okay, and you've got one owner and they're making a W-2 of $200,000, 25% of that would be $50,000. That would be the max profit sharing they could do, assuming they don't run into any other 415 limits like we talked about. So in that situation, you couldn't actually do $50,000 if you're maxing out $24,500 in deferrals, because that puts you at $74,500. You're going to be capped at $72,000. So you're going to have to dial down the profit sharing a little bit, and that's where the 415 and the 404 kind of play together. You can potentially put in $72,000, but you may not be able to deduct it off your W-2 isn't high enough, or your W-2 might allow for a higher profit sharing, but you might not be able to put that in if you're running up against a 415 limit. So finding the right balance of W-2 income is sometimes the game we play with the CPAs and the clients towards the end of the year when they go, how much W-2 income do I have to take to maximize my retirement plan contribution? And those are the two limits that we're going to take into consideration going, okay, if your goal is to maximize this and you're already making this in deferrals, here's how much W-2 you have to take to get at least the maximum profit sharing contribution. And if you want to take above that because you have reasonable compensation concerns or anything along those lines based on your CPA and how much income you made, great. It's just not going to change the equation on our side as far as how much you need to take to maximize your contribution. So those are good year-end conversations to have with us, preferably not on December 28th or 29th. Like, give us a little bit of time. It's the calculation that we do often, but with vacations at the end of the year, the more runway you can give us, the more ample time we're going to have to look at it closely and give you a good, accurate answer so you can plan accordingly. And if you need to bonus yourself out at the end of the year, great, you've got the ability to do that. So those are great conversations to have after October 15th and before December 31st with us, with your CPA, and getting us all on the same page as well, because if you have to take higher wages, your CPA needs to know that so they can make any payroll adjustments or do what they need to do on their end. So keeping everyone on the same page is critical to setting these plans up for success.